What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here. Welcome back to another YouTube video here on the YouTube channel. Now, it feels really cool to say that. Obviously, I've been on holiday for about a week now. Went to lovely Sherwood Forest and Centre Parks in Nottinghamshire, Newark. Great fun, great time with the family. And I come back to Marvel's Avengers. And obviously, it's riddled with bugs, terrible time, and I was going to come back and show you guys a Spider-Man raid build video, and I was hyping it up on the socials and stuff like that, but I absolutely do not want to promote playing the raid right now. I don't want to do it. It's not worth your time at all, given all the bugs and the frustration in doing so. I recommend that if you want to play Avengers, just focus on Spider-Man until they sort their shit out. So I'm going to go through the AMA that is on Reddit at the moment, and I'm going to talk about some of the awful answers that we have received here. So I'm going to go through like the main ones, right? So if you want to look at this yourself, you can by going on the comments of the Play Avengers Reddit account. So someone asked, is Spider-Man's web status not working on bosses a bug or on purpose? Brian Wagner said this is currently by design. There are issues with how the webbing interacts with bosses and some of their behaviours, so for now we're not planning on it working on bosses. This is a tragic answer. This to me tells me that what you've actually meant is we tried to make it work, it was buggy, we couldn't be asked to fix it or sort it out, so we just made it not a thing. Spider-Man is a hindrance in boss battles. He's a really fun character that when he gets to a boss battle, it's just a really generic melee stick punching motherfucker, right? Unless you have gear that is powerful on any hero, so I'm talking about status effects, payloads, and battery damage, Spider-Man is fucking useless when it comes to boss battles, and it's absolutely shameful that this is a thing, right? I can't believe it that we are in a situation where Spider-Man is useless with boss battles, you know, and the thing is as well, is then their response is even worse. They're saying like, hold on, let me scroll up, because they kind of respond about using, here it is right here, so I'll find the context. Is it intended that Spidey's web doesn't affect on bosses? I mean, don't completely immobilize them, but slow them somewhat. And then Brian said you could try using Cryo to slow down bosses since it has a similar effect. No, use fucking webs. That's his weapon. That is essentially like saying, Hawkeye, sorry mate, your arrows don't work against bosses. You know what I mean? Like, oh sorry Black Panther, vibranium on your spear doesn't work on bosses. You made a mechanic for a hero that is supposed to do the hero thing. But because, for some reason, you couldn't be bothered to finish it, even though he's been in development for a year, you were like, oh, just use Cryo. Go farm Cryo. No one uses Cryo. It is fucking... it is useless. It is an absolutely useless thing that all it does is slow down enemies, and it is not good for damage output at all. Don't listen to that. Also, Spider-Man takedowns will grant health as intended in an upcoming patch. That's cool. I like that. I'm glad. It definitely will make Spider-Man a bit more of a meta character, because at the moment, Spider-Man may be incredibly fun, but he's got nothing that actually makes him better than anyone else. So this will at least kind of make him a bit of a tank, considering that if you're supposed to have a melee character and he's getting fucking whacked about in like 0.3 seconds, then at least we kind of have something to bounce off of, right? You know what I mean? Something else that I saw here is this one, right? So I've got another one after this, just because I only want to address sort of little bits and bobs. I've got a few after this one. So basically, someone was talking about the comic system, and they said, we still want to do some form of an update on the comic system, but nothing to announce at this time. The comic system update was on the first roadmap. The very first roadmap of the game. You don't believe me? I will absolutely show you. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to type in Avengers roadmap, right? And here it is, the very, 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 very first one. And you'll see here, right? Ongoing improvements, collectible. In fact, let me buff it up a bit more so everyone can see it. So, as you can see there, collectible comic system. That was in their first roadmap. And for some reason, they don't have an update on it. What is going on? What is happening over there to not have an update on a comic system? Are you not working on it? Be obvious. Be transparent about it. That is absolutely weird. That is something that seems to be a secretive thing. You know what I mean? And okay, so here's another thing as well that I feel like it is very important to sort of address, is that as much as I love Andy, this wording is very, very scary. Is that someone asking, when are we going to get our units? Because obviously, as you guys know, when the update came around, we lost all our fucking units. Andy said, we addressed this in our blog yesterday, we plan to reimburse those players as soon as our next patch. Now, reimburse could mean the full amount. So say I got a whopping 800k. I didn't, but just say I did. And they gave me everything back. Or they're like, okay, we'll give you some credits, some units, and a nameplate. If that's the case, you shove it up your bum. I'm being honest. Shove it up so far where the sun don't shine. That's terrible, right? You do get to a point where some of the conspiracy theories in Marvel's Avengers, like, oh, this bug only happened because, like, they didn't want everyone buying stuff day one and they wanted the shipments to matter and all that good stuff. You can totally get why people come to those sort of, like, weird conclusions, because I mean, I fucking do. Let me tell you, like, I think about it. I'm thinking, that's a bit suspicious, and I you know, you can absolutely understand why. But one of the worst things that I did see, and I'm gonna scroll down because this is something that will take a while to address, because I'm gonna be honest, bad, right? It's pretty bad. So unless it has been deleted, which is very interesting. But if it has, then I can always go on Twitter, as this was actually... Oh, no, here we go. Okay. Right, so, someone was begging about joining Progress, right? So, you know, because the raid is ridiculously buggy, and joining Progress would at least alleviate those issues ridiculously. And Brian said, we don't have anything to announce regarding joining Progress right now. Why the fuck not? When you release a raid, when you release a mission, your grand end game, and like 75% of the players can't get through it because of bugs, because of crashes, because of all that, saying we'll fix some of the crashes in a future patch is not good enough. You absolutely need to push the faith that joining Progress is happening, because that is the only thing that will alleviate this, because there is no shot that anyone in the entire world can trust that Avengers will clean their act up in time for like Christmas, when we can all sit down and play it without having to worry about work or school or whatever, right? And so the fact that there isn't like a joining Progress is high priority, but we don't have anything to update at this time, isn't the answer. But fucking, we don't have anything to announce regarding joining Progress right now is really bad. Like, really, really bad. And it concerns me that this is kind of the direction that Avengers is always going to go, where it just feels like nothing is ever fucking happening. You know what I mean? And I just, yeah, it blows my mind completely that this is something that hasn't been sort of on the card. So, Marvel's Avengers shows up, you know, and in this Reddit thing, and it absolutely gives some of the most worst answers I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, so for example, right, nothing more to announce about loadouts at this time. What do you mean? You literally implemented the loadout formula in War for Wakanda. How do you not have more announcements about loadout? How is loadouts that difficult? I don't understand. I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? I don't get it. Like, this boggles my mind. It's very bad, and honestly, as I said this on so many podcasts, I would be ashamed to release the most recent update for Marvel's Avengers in the state that it is in. Is the raid decent? Yes, it is. But is it buggy and broken and unfun for that reason? Absolutely. Is it worth it? No, it's really not. And to be honest with you, as I've said constantly, when it comes to new updates in Marvel's Avengers, wait fucking 3 months for it to actually be at a point where you can enjoy yourself. Jesus wept. I just came back on holiday, lads. Do you know what I mean? Like, Avengers fucking swing and a miss every single time. Every single time you give it 5 minutes, it does a big swing and a miss. So, anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. I'm definitely not going to keep ragging on Avengers all the time, but I definitely want you guys to understand that at the moment, Avengers is in a bad place once again, and it's definitely something that needs to be addressed and shouted from the rooftops, and if no one else will do it, I will be the motherfucker to do it. I'm not afraid. Daddy's home. It's time for more content. I'll see you guys in a bit.